Now, there's a few more things we should do for our nav links. Specifically, we should make it obvious which page the visitor is currently on by selecting and highlighting the current nav link. We'll do this by jumping back into our markup. So we'll go into our HTML here, and we'll add an attribute called a class. Now, I just mentioned a class, but I didn't explain what it is. So a class is similar to an ID, but the difference is that you can have multiples of the same class on a page. All IDs, however, must be unique and cannot be repeated on a single page. So let's go ahead and add that class. And I'm going to add it to index.html, or the portfolio link here, because that's the page that we're currently on. And I'm going to say class, and I'm going to apply the class selected. Now, just like IDs, this can be anything you want. This isn't a predefined class. This is just a class I made up. So we'll need to apply some styling to match it in our CSS. We could have used an ID in this particular instance, but adding a class will give us greater flexibility in case there is a strange navigational situation where we want multiple selections. In this case, we've applied the selected class to our homepage link. This will indicate to the site visitor which page they're currently on. So let's save that and then jump into our CSS and utilize this class. So I'm going to create a new rule here and say nav a, and then apply the class. And to do that, we use dots. We'll say dot selected, and then we'll open up the rule here. So basically, any anchor element that's inside of our nav that has the class selected applied to it will get these style declarations. So we're just going to apply a color here, and I'm going to type out a new color, and the value will be 32 for red, 67 for the green, and 3F for the blue. So RGB. Now, you've seen a few hexadecimal colors so far. So without hovering over this, I want you to try and guess what this color might be. Have you guessed it? I'm going to hover over, and you guessed dark green. That's correct. It's very similar to our other colors that we've been applying previously. So once again, just to review, if there's an anchor element with the class selected applied, it will get this dark green color. I want to also apply this dark green color to the hover state, which is another pseudo class similar to visited. So let's go ahead and break apart this selector into two selectors and say nav, anchor, and then apply the pseudo class hover. So anytime we hover over this link with our cursor, it will change to this particular color. What does that mean? Well, let's save this and go back to our preview and refresh and see what it looks like. As you can see, the portfolio text is a darker color now, and that's because the selected class has been applied. And if I hover my cursor over the other links here, you'll see that the hover state activates and changes the color. Pretty cool. The last thing I want to style is the background color and text color of our body element, which basically encapsulates the entire website. We'll set the background to white and the text color to gray. That will make the text feel a little less harsh because it will have slightly lower contrast. So let's switch back to our CSS, and I'll scroll down here. I'm going to type body, and then I'm going to say background color. I'm going to set it to white. Of course, this is white by default, but we want to make sure that no other styling overrides that for some strange reason. We want to make absolutely sure that our background color is the color that we want it to be. And then I'm going to set the text color using the color property and I'm going to apply another shorthand hexadecimal value. Now, once again, I want you to try and guess what this color is going to be, and it's going to be this gray color. So let's go ahead and save that, switch over to our preview and refresh. And if we scroll down the page here to where we have some text, you can see that it is now this light gray color. Those are most of the colors that we'll use on our website. Later on, we'll add color in a few more places. Before we continue, let's review what we've learned.